flame has no master. It does not hunger for wood, nor does it fear the rain. It is the mountain's own breath, a steady, shimmering plume of fire that issues from a deep fissure in the rock at the mouth of a wide cave. For the small clan of Australopithecus who live here, it is not a tool. It is a god, a protector, a living heart for their world. This is the unforgiving reality of life million years ago, a time before humans would claim dominion. And in this world, such a miracle is the difference between thriving and extinction. This band of early humans huddles in the permanent summer of its glow. Their long arms and shorter legs are testament to a species caught between the forest and the savannah, between the ape and the man. Their leader is an old male, Zern. His face is a mask of scarred hide, his canine teeth still long, but his eyes hold a new light, a patient, observant intelligence. He and his clan are the beneficiaries of this geological seat. At night, they do not scatter to the trees. They sleep on the warm stone of the cave floor, cocooned in safety. The great hyenas and saber-toothed cats, rulers of the darkness, pace at the edge of the light. Their eyes glowing like embers in the bush. They snarl and spit, but they do not cross the line. The fire is a wall they cannot breach. This nightly ritual is a cornerstone of the clan's community, a shared security that binds them tighter than blood. Survival has been granted, not gained. But San is learning. His intelligence, the defining spark of hominid history, is turning this gift into a tool. He has discovered that a dry branch, thrust into the eternal flame, can carry the fire away from its source. He uses these torches to push the predator line back, to explore the deeper, darker corners of their cave. He has made another discovery, one born of accident. A piece of scavenged antelope dropped near the fissure, sizzled in smoke. When he cautiously tasted the cooked flesh, the effect was revolutionary. It was easier to tear, easier to digest. It was a windfall of energy, unlocked by the flame. This is a profound intelligence point, a secret that makes his small, struggling clan healthier and stronger than any of their kind. They have stumbled upon the foundation of future civilization, but such advantages are never kept secret for long. A pillar of smoke by day and a beacon of light by night are advertisements. And they have attracted attention, miles away. A different clan, larger, stronger, and far more desperate, sees the glow on the horizon. They are nodes, their bodies scarred from a harder life. Their leader is a giant of a male, a being of pure brute force. He sees the distant light not as a miracle to be revered, but as a resource to be conquered. The attack comes at dusk, the moment of greatest vulnerability, when the day's light has died and the flame's authority is not yet absolute. They emerge from the tall grass not like a hunting party, but like a flood. They are bigger, their limbs thicker, their movements brutally efficient. They are a different current in the river of human evolution, a branch that has leaned into strength over subtlety. Their leader, the massive male, lets out a guttural roar that is both a command and a claim. Their strategy is simple, a wave of bodies to crush the smaller clan and seize the prize. This is the oldest story in the chronicle of life, resource guarding, written in the language of tooth and club. Panic, a cold, greasy serpent, slithers through the nest clan. The females gather the young, pulling them back into the deepest recesses of the cave. The males grab stones on heavy branches, their knuckles white. But they are too few. Zan sees the raw mathematics of their doom. He sees the invader's eyes, fixated on the flame, on the warmth, on the life they do not have. And in that moment, a terrible clarity descends. The god at his back must become a weapon in his hand. This is the emotional turning point. The moment a miracle is desecrated to ensure survival. He turns from the advancing enemy and shoves the end of a long, dry log deep into the eternal flame. The others watch, frozen in terror and awe. He has touched their god. He pulls the log out. Now a giant, sputtering torch. He barks orders, his voice sharp with a new, terrifying authority. The plan is one of desperate genius. A piece of primitive technology conceived in the crucible of fear. For seasons, they have swept the cave mouth clean, piling the dry leaves, discarded husks, and resinous spine cones into a long, low mound to keep their living space clear. It was an act of housekeeping. Now, Zan sees it for what it is, a line of tinder. This is the moment to become a fellow chronicler, to witness not just a battle, but the birth of a dreadful new idea. As a community, they move, with smaller branches lit from Zan's torch. They sprint along the mound, touching the flame to the dry detritus. The result is instantaneous and apocalyptic. The line of debris erupts into a roaring wall of fire, a river of 1,000 teeth that surges outward. The dry leaves ignite with a whoosh. The pine cones burst like tiny grenades, casting sparks and embers into the faces of the charging invaders, the attackers, who only know fire as a distant, singular point, are met with a moving, breathing beast of heat and smoke. They stop, their charge broken, their guttural roars turning to screams of pain and confusion. Their brute force is useless against an enemy they cannot grapple with. They stumble back, swatting at the flames that lick at their hairy bodies, their eyes wide with a primal terror that has been dormant for 1,000,000 years. Zan and his clan stand behind the inferno, their faces illuminated by the horrific beauty of what they have unleashed. They are no longer victims. They are wielders of the sun's own fury. The firewall is a roaring beast, but it is a stupid one. It burns where the fuel is thickest, creating gaps and channels where the grass is thin. Through these breaches, the most desperate of the invaders charge. Their faces contorted masks of rage and terror. The battle dissolves into a series of brutal, intimate skirmishes in the flickering hell light. Aksan finds a shoulder with a wet, cracking soul. Stone axes, crude but effective, rise and fall. It is chaos. A maelstrom of grunts and screams where the line between defender and attacker is blurred by smoke and blood. Zan sees a young male from his own clan, Teru, filled with a terrifying battle fury, rush forward and strike down an invader, only to be clubbed from behind by another. He falls without a sound. This is the brutal transaction of victory. Zan himself fights like a cornered animal, his torch now a spear of fire, keeping two larger attackers at bay. They are terrified of the flame, but their desperation is greater. It is not his strength that saves him, but his mind. He sees them silhouetted against the still burning eternal flame. He is not just fighting bodies. He is fighting in a landscape he owns. He gives ground, luring them closer to the cave mouth, onto the smooth, sloping rock he knows better than the back of his own hand. He fights. They lunge, and one slips on a patch of loose scree, his ankle twisting with an audible snap. The other hesitates, and in that moment of hesitation, the battle is lost. The invader's leader, seeing his best warriors fall not to strength but to fire and to rain, lets out a final, frustrated roar of defeat and retreats into the darkness, his remaining forces melting away with him. The silence that descends is heavier than the smoke that still chokes the air. Victory does not taste sweet. It tastes of ash. As the sun rises, it illuminates a kingdom of ruin. The ground is blackened, littered with the charred bodies of the invaders in the still form of terror. The air stinks of burnt hair and cooked meat. This is the new reality that future studies in anthropology will define. The transition from incidental conflict to organized warfare. Zan's clan gathers, their faces smudged with soot, their eyes hollow. They have survived. But their sanctuary is gone, replaced by a battlefield. The women tend to the wounded, an act of altruism that is the only gentle thing in this brutal dawn. Zan looks at the eternal flame, the god that saved them. It no longer looks like a gift. It looks like a curse, a magnet for violence. He has made the great cognitive leap, turning nature into a weapon. He has saved his people, but he has taught them how to kill their own kind on a scale they had never imagined. Their home is now a fortress, and they are its prisoners. This battle, lost to the deep archives of ancient history, is more than a simple tribal skirmish. It is the story of the first armed race. The moment a technological advantage ceased to be a simple tool for survival and became a strategic asset to be defended at any cost, the future of our species was irrevocably altered. Sun's desperate innovation was a blueprint for all the fortresses, walls, and weapon systems to come. The eternal flame is the ancestor of the uranium mine, the iron field, the silicon chip, a resource so vital that the fear of losing it makes war a rational choice. The tragic victory at the cave mouth teaches us a fundamental lesson, one that paleontology hints at in the bone records and anthropology observes in our own behavior. Our greatest strengths are inextricably linked to our most terrifying capacities. Our intellect gave us fire, but it also gave us firebombs. The cognitive leap that allowed one small clan to survive a brutal attack is the same leap that has brought our own world to the brink time and again. We are still that clan, huddled around the flame of unimaginable power, wondering if its light will save us, or if the fight to control it will be the end of us all. Every new discovery is a new door, and we never know if it opens onto a brighter room or a steeper cliff. What happens when the mind itself becomes the most dangerous territory?